So what do you mean 5 virtues?
So just so I don't say it wrong here, let me look it up.
Oh, you gotta look it up.
Well, I know it, but I don't want to. I don't want to say it wrong. People be like, "Oh, you could know what you're talking about."
Well, like I heard there's like you get 7 deadly sins and like only 6 perfections. So it's like now there's 5 virtues. Is like
right. So me myself, I like to embody different cultures. That's what all my tattoos kind of represent. So the bands that I have I represent the 5 virtues. In the Sikhism religion, they have the positive human qualities that we're required to reunite or merge with God, right? So the traits that make you kind of like a good person, I guess. So truth, compassion, contentment, humility, and love.
Okay. I can see that. Like when I was in high school, I had an English teacher that taught an entire class on compassion.
What was that class like?
It was something else. Like, dude, the teacher, Mr. Daigle, he was an absolute mad lad. In one breath, he's teaching a class talking about compassion and reading into the meanings of things, and in the another, he walks right up to his little cabinet at the side of the room and takes a big old sledgehammer to the fucking wall just to fuck with the classroom next door.
All right.
That's.
Was this like a odd psychology class?
No, this was an English class.
Oh.
Talking about compassion, reading of Mice and Men. Tell me about the rabbits, George.
What do you mean you doubt my teaching methods?
Do you remember your first lesson on compassion?
I remember very vividly that one of the first things he talked about with compassion turned out to be a story that had been about my grandfather, because I found out not long after it because I mentioned it to my mother, and because he was going on about this big blizzard that happened in the town, and at the time my grandfather was running a auto shop. And during this, the blizzard was like really starting to hit, and he got concerned about all the people that had babies that were, whether or not they'd be able to get through the blizzard before running out, because it was just that bad. So he goes around and he's just giving like diapers of appropriate sizes to the families that would need them, and he happened to be one of those families, because he had his little baby and whatnot at the time, and it's just like, oh wow, small world. And like he told the story with such reverence and mystique that it's just like I could, like, after I found out, I was like, I could tell him that it was my grandfather, but like if I did that would ruin the mystery. Like, right now, he's got himself a story about a mystery man out there doing good deeds from out of the compassion of his heart. Right. And then, like, putting a name and a face to that, I don't think that would be necessarily a good thing.
Yeah, the anonymity, the mystery adds a lot to the persona. That's why you got all the masked heroes in like Marvel and DC and shit.
Yeah, it's like the Lone Ranger. Who is that masked stranger?
Right, because then they can kind of put themselves in it a little bit.
Yeah, like if you put your name out there, that's like, okay, you're going to get credit for it, but like you don't need to be thanked. Sometimes it's just the good deed is its own reward at some point.
Right. The whole mask thing is similar to the same reason why in a lot of hentai the men don't have eyes or like any facial features.
Oh boy!
So you're saying that hentai's the real hero here? I think that's a good point to start the show with. Welcome to Dungeons and Talkshows, the show that brings you monsters, news, and homebrews. I am your host, Orion.
And I am your host, Sam. Welcome back to another episode.
And with us in studio today, we have a special guest. How about you introduce yourself?
Hey. Pleasure to be here.
It's the boy.
My name is Silent Siphon. I go by Zai for short. For me, I'm here to bring some quality entertainment and inform you a little bit about this whole route and this Dungeons and Dragons, whatever you call it.
Yeah, so Zai here is a recent and very welcome addition to the TheNerdMilitia, so happy to have you with us.
Thank you.
Yeah, you haven't been in the Discord for too long, but you've seemed to fit in very, very well.
You know, it isn't really too far for reality to believe this. You know, sometimes this world just seems to pull people together that really blend well. You get back what you put out there.
I agree.
Exactly. It kind of reminds me of this thing in JoJo, because wouldn't you know it, as a weeb like me, everything cycles back to fucking anime.
Damn.
JoJo specifically.
Yeah, well, no, in this case, Dio, where he's just do you believe in gravity?
Word.
yeah, that bit of gravity that pulls people together.
What is? Wait, hold on. Have you seen those I guess they're TikTok clips where someone's dressed up like the JoJo characters and they freeze time while the people are pushing the guy in the wheelchair.
What?
I gotta find this shit, bro. It's so funny. And then he just walks up, pushes the guy out, sees the girl's face, and then he puts on the Sweet Dreams song.
It's great. Oh, dude, I'm totally going to use that line in one of my games as a DM. Have an NPC go up excuse me, do you believe in gravity? And then the player's what the fuck you mean, do I believe in gravity? I'm standing, aren't I? No, that certain pull that kind of leads people to come together in times of need, or just what? Fate.
Am I the only one getting major Morpheus vibes? Do you think that's area breathing?
Yeah, see? Perfect. It works out.
Yeah, cool beans.
I don't think I ever. Tragic. I saw it again earlier today too. Just saved it.
Well, too little, too late.
Unfortunately. Memes are doing great these days.
Nani?
Who's that? Nani the fuck?
I think it dropped, but...
Oh, Zylan left the lip sync.
Oh, we gotta get him back in there.
Man, cannot hear you. Oh, there he goes.
Oh.
Technical difficulties. You can go ahead and put one of those Fallout sounds.
I really. Technically it's difficult, but that's okay. So, Sam, what do we got for the monster this week?
All right, so we thought we'd dip back into the dragon scene, hit something on the fringes. One of these small, cute little boys who are kind of dragons, but not really dragons. Let's talk about the Pseudodragon today.
Awesome.
I like them. I think they're cool. The wizard's familiar's best friend.
Okay.
Everybody wants a Pseudodragon for many, many purposes. They are useful. They're smart. Sassy little boys.
Dude, I would be remiss if I didn't say that I've wanted one at one point. Yeah. Partially because, when I play, I tend to build a bit of an entourage.
I mean, if anyone can look at our current game, they can see.
Well, first I got my familiar, then I got my goat, and then I got the NPC I recruit,
Absolutely. But okay, so
Yeah.
unfortunately, there's not a whole lot of information on pseudodragons. They're kind of self-explanatory. But what there is, they are tiny cousins of true dragons, but they were highly valued for their use as a wizard's familiar. They were also sometimes dispatched in times of need by an array of deities. Pseudodragons typically had bodies about 1 foot long and 2 foot, and with a 2 foot long tail, and weighed about 7 pounds. They could communicate telepathically in common or draconic, and also through the vocalization of animal noises. They kind of had like a mimicry of sorts.
Okay, like a parrot?
Yeah, kind of like a parrot.
Dude.
So while pseudodragons could bite, their main weapon was the stinging of their poisonous tail. They had chameleon-like abilities, though their color was usually a brownish red. Their general attitude was similar to that of a small cat, but with a cunning intelligence. Pseudodragons loved to hunt vermin and small animals for food. They were wary of evil beings, but were willing to serve as a companion to another being if treated well, and if they were respected. Pseudodragons inhabited temperate forests in the wild. They could often be found as familiars in nearly any environment.
Alright, first off, I'm loving the concept that, like, with a pseudo-dragon, it's just like, it's a cat, so you're just gonna be, like, chilling, and next thing you know, you wake up in the morning, and you got a vole on your pillow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, not even a mouse, just a vole.
Like a magical vole, like that.
Oh, a magic vole?
Magic vole.
What does a magic vole do?
I don't know. What does a regular vole do?
It burrows in the ground like a mole, except it looks more mouse-like, and then it's just like, oh no, I can't see very well because I have bad eyes, and I'm digging in the dirt.
Maybe it has like blind sight, and has like a pretty good dig speed.
Yeah, so we can get it like a mole as kind of like a familiar. Is that what we're getting at now? We can have.
I mean, honestly, why not? Someone want
voles and moles.
Something interesting I did find about pseudodragons is I had to dive a little bit deep, back into the deep depths of D&D lore. I went to the ecology of the pseudodragon, the sting. This was on Dragon Ecologies, written by a Jonathan M. Richards and illustrated by Tony DiTerlizzi in March of 2000. So this was an old, I think it was a 3rd edition book that they had just talked about several different creatures and several different subjects of D&D and stuff like that.
All right.
So they had a small passage where they kind of mentioned pseudodragons. It said, the term pet is misleading when used to describe the relationship between a pseudodragon and its companion. As any pseudodragon is quick to point out, there are 2 ways for a human to become the companion of one of these creatures. Either the human can summon the pseudodragon via the wizard find familiar, or the pseudodragon can choose the human. A pseudodragon looking for a human companion uses its inherent telepathic powers to eavesdrop upon the minds of candidates. If it likes what it learns, it presents itself and makes its final decision based upon the human's reaction. People who express overwhelming joy at the prospect are generally shoo-ins. Obviously, they like to be praised. They're cats.
You know what? That makes perfect sense.
Yeah. You just see one and you just praise it. Oh man, let me give you pets. You're such a pretty boy.
Yeah, but they can read your mind and know whether or not you're genuine or not. So it's like you have to be giving genuine praises. None of that disingenuous shit.
Facts. Humans are the only race found a pseudodragon. Companion, sorry. Although they are the font is so small. Although they are the most common, demi-humans, usually elves or halflings, less frequently gnomes, are occasionally given the opportunity for such an honor. In the forest-dwelling pseudodragons are not against taking as companions members of such sylvan races, such as nymphs, dryads, or centaurs. See the ecology of the nymph in Dragon Magazine 240. Oh yes, this was in Dragon Magazine 269, by the way.
Okay, so that must have been in the 90s then.
It was in the 2000s, yes.
What? The Dragon Magazine was still around in the 2000s?
Mm-hmm. In March of 2000 when this one came out.
Damn.
From as far as I could tell, yeah. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
I do like the concept with the Pseudodragon, so it'd be really cool to see more of those in games, because I've always just wanted to try to get one going, because like they don't like to be seen as pets, but
Right.
you know, companions, like you said. So it's a little tricky, because as a DM, you could definitely throw Pseudodragon at your player, but you'd have to kind of like put it out there to a player you think is worthy of having a Pseudodragon, because like obviously there's going to be players that are like, oh, everything's my pet and I'm going to take care of it and love it and feed it. And it's just like, no, this thing sees itself as a fucking equal. If you treat it like a pet,
it has
it will
to straight up
jet.
like you. Like, it has to genuinely like you. You know, it has to like your vibe.
That's probably why Pseudodragons don't appear that often. Not because DMs forget, it's just, well, they have to like you first.
Yeah, they probably, you know, they're always lurking around. They probably see what your party's doing if they are interested at all. And, you know, they may not like what they see, so they may not present themselves.
It makes sense.
Chances are you're not going to see them if they don't want you to. Like, they do have pretty good stealth. Talking about their stealth, let's go into their stats here. So the Pseudodragon is a tiny dragon, neutral good, armor class of 13, speed of 15, and a fly speed of 60. They had a strength of 6, dexterity of 15, constitution of 13, intelligence of 10, wisdom of 12, charisma of 10. Welcome back, I think. DJ, did you come back? Hello?
Oh, it's been big.
Oh, you're so quiet.
Knocked a lot of power out.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Got that all
Oh.
fixed up.
Yeah. You're just finishing up the Pseudo-Dragon portion.
No, please continue.
Getting into their abilities here. So we have Keen Senses. Everyone knows what this one does. The Pseudo-Dragon has advantage on wisdom perception checks that rely on sight, hearing, or smell.
Nice.
They also have magic resistance. They have advantage on saving throws against spells and other magical effects.
That's cool.
They also have limited telepathy. The Pseudo-Dragon can magically communicate simple ideas, emotions, and images telepathically with any creature within 100 feet that can understand a language.
Ooh.
So like I said, its main portion of attack is its stinger. And I have the information for that here.
So they're kind of like wyverns in that way, because wyverns have that scorpion tail stinger.
Right, except they have the 4 legs as well.
Okay, so they're kind of hitting that in-between space while still being little mini.
Yeah, they're cute. So for their stinger attack, the target must succeed on a DC 11 Constitution saving throw or become poisoned for 1 hour. If the saving throw fails by 5 or more, the target falls unconscious for the same duration, or until it takes damage or another creature uses an action to shake it awake.
Deja vu, I just been in this place before. Higher on the street, and I know it's my time to blow.
Because I know I've heard that before.
Yeah, I like the idea that it just can straight knock you unconscious.
Dude, I fucking love the concept, because wyverns having their little scorpion tail sting, okay, that's cool, but Pseudodragons, that's a whole other form of RP that kind of comes out, and being able to put some consequences to belligerent players that's always fun.
You have a sassy Pseudo-Dragon companion, someone's acting up, he just stings them real quick.
Yeah, that'd be great. It's like fucking Inuyasha. Sit, boy!
Yeah, like...
Boom! Got him. Bam!
Just have a fun dynamic. You could also, there's a new thing where you could have a PC play a companion race. You could have a player play a Pseudo-Dragon as your familiar, and the dynamic for that could be hilarious.
That sounds like a Soul Eater dynamic, and I'm for it.
Exactly what I'm saying. That could go so hard.
Damn, getting them anime vibes today.
Especially if you take into account like the Stibbles idea, how they have the feats and abilities where the companion kind of levels up.
I do like that.
You know? So they're not just kind of like this 10 health creature. They actually kind of level up with you.
Yeah, I do like that kind of stuff, and I'm a big fan of the ally rules that they use for sidekicks in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, because it gives you 3 sidekick classes. One that's kind of like the sneaky rogue skill monkey. You got your caster, which is just a general caster, not even a specific class. And then you have your warrior fighting type.
Mm-hmm.
I've used it in the past for campaigns, and I find it works amazingly well. And as a DM, like if you want to like kind of make your sidekick a little multi-class, you can kind of like mix abilities at each level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you could have them have like combo attacks. That could be really cool.
Yeah, for me,
Soul
I ended
resonance.
Exactly. Like I was making new stuff when I was using that, because the Tasha's, it gives you a good format. So it's like, okay, you got that. You understand the rough power of what each thing is supposed to be, and it levels up with the party.
The desire to run a Soul Eater campaign now.
Yo, I'm for it.
Oh man,
I remember talk about that when I was in high school.
If
we
it's one of those things that
I'm down. I would run that.
So
no, I wouldn't want to be a player too bad.
Yeah,
it'd be hard. Just
that DM struggling
for wanting. It'd be so good though. And as a player, if you wanted to, you could even play 2 characters. You could play your
weapon and your Meister, yeah.
Or you could like have 2 people kind of swap, where it's like one person's playing the other person's weapon, and the vice versa.
Yeah, so you have the Meister and the weapon, you know.
Yeah, so each person gets 2 characters. They switch it up with the Meister weapon. For anyone that doesn't know, Soul Eater is a manga anime, and the whole setting has, you got weapon meisters. These are the people that wield weapons, and the weapons are people who are able to shapeshift and transform into a weapon. Mm-hmm. And they kind of form a bit of a bond, a contract of sorts, where they have to literally vibe with each other to work as a team.
Yep. If you fail the vibe check and you don't work well together, just doesn't work.
You literally can't use the magic system if you're not vibing.
Yeah. I think that could be a really fun campaign. So, look, this is a question for our listeners. If anyone is interested in, and you like Soul Eater, and you maybe want to be a DM or be a player, hit us up.
You know what? There's got to be some PDFs out there. There's no way that there isn't.
I'm looking it up.
I'm already looking a couple locations, but it seems like a lot of people don't really have it too well put together, but it's all loosely based.
Well, I have something that I loosely use for a soul resonance type thing for 5th edition. It could probably be slotted in, because it's a...
So I did find one on Reddit. Unearthed Arcana 2 years ago by Unlucky Brain 9948. I made a 5e conversion for the Foot Soul Eater anime. You can be a demon weapon. Work in progress. So looking at this page here.
Work in progress. Did he ever finish the progress?
I don't know. Here, I'll go ahead and pop this in the chat. In the vibe chat. She seems kind of cool.
I'm curious.
Oh no, it doesn't look done. Yeah, or maybe it is done. This is all it is. Sure.
Maybe he died, and someone needs to carry the torch.
Yeah, maybe someone needs to carry the torch. Unlucky Brain, if you happen to be listening to this, hit us up. Yeah, maybe we can help you finish this. Maybe we can. Maybe someone else can work on it.
Someone can carry the torch.
Yeah, we need to revive the community of Soul Eater.
Dude, I'm down for it. I really am. And I kind of have a homebrew rule that I had worked on last summer and it kind of uses these things called resonance dice.
Oh
Well,
yes,
not resonance dice, but synchronization dice, which functions on the resonating between character dynamic. How
like
it
the
functions
Joe
is, yeah, yeah. Basically, the concept is like, say you got two magic users, and they want to cast a spell. It's like, okay, you can help the other person cast the spell, and maybe even combo for a much bigger spell. You know,
Combine your
two
spells
people coming together to upcast and make it even better. So you'd perform a synchronization check to see if you're in sync with each other. Each player will roll a D100 and see what they get. The closer the numbers are to each other, the higher the likelihood of not only success, but like if you get like really close or dead on, then that's kind of like double the damage or extra benefits.
An extra effect or something, yeah.
Yeah, extra effects, like it's working above and beyond. Like you are truly in sync. You're getting more out of it. And then if you roll too low, then like it'll fail, and there'll be like a kind of a drawback to the situation. But I really like the concept of being able to work together as spellcasters, and the same for marshals, where it's like having team maneuvers. Like, just imagine having like a special move where two people come together. It's like, okay, they're doing a thing, rather than just having like all these weird excess rolls. It's just like, okay, how in sync are you two? Let's go. Let's see what you got.
Yeah. I mean, it was very similar to when I played my Alphon Soulbound character, and I was able to have someone wear me. Like,
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Additionally to the
the magical girl transformation. Like,
oh, that was unrealized, and I was so hopeful for it, because I gave everybody dud magic items that were all fucked in some way.
It's a dud.
Well, you see, for his magic item that he was going to get, it was these boots of flying that were all pink and stuff. He's like, okay, as soon as he wears these boots of flying, normally they would turn the user into a woman. However, where he is a suit of armor, it would have no effect. So it would have been that big surprise moment when someone goes to wear him as an armor, and they get the full magical girl transformation, where it's like, okay, they're merging, and the armor pieces are moving into place, it's suiting up, and then all of a sudden, everything's pink, everything's feminine, the armor morphs into a more feminine physique and armor, alongside wings. Yeah, like full-on breastplate. You know,
battle ready armor for codename Kid Next Door.
absolutely.
Tell me more about this battle ready armor.
Even better, my armor that I was kind of like an Egyptian, like Anubis aesthetic. I kind of pictured like an Egyptian like battle armor.
Yeah, like a Bastet or like a Cleopatra vibe.
Like a Valkyrie, like, you know, like an Egyptian Valkyrie. Hell yeah.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Cool as fuck.
With it.
Sick. So, what do you have for any news this week, Orion?
Let's see.
Roar. Nah.
So, we got some wild stuff this week for news. I mean, a little late on the uptake with this one. Dimension 20 started the month off, because, you know, Pride Month and stuff, with their Dungeons and Drag Queens.
Oof.
Nice. Good for them. That sounds fun. Have they started that already?
I think so. It just seems so... it's definitely very whimsical, like, cool on them, I guess. Like, I'm not really about it, because, like, drag's just so tacky, and I can't stand the plastic aesthetic of it, you know? It's just...
Oh, I think I did see a video.
I am the kind of guy that hates too much makeup.
Yeah, right. I can understand it.
I peep.
I understand the art form, but that's not my vibe. But
yeah. You know. Considering, my father actually who adopted me, he was, gay. But one thing that I did learn a lot about his character was oftentimes a man's got to learn how to be a man first. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, you swing whatever way you want to. But
Mm.
most respectable people in that sense, I'm not saying that there's any people that are disrespectable because of how like that whole gender fluid. A bone's a bone, man. You jump it, that's on you, but but I say, it's just you get a lot more bees with honey, and for
Mhm.
someone that struggles with identifying one way or the other, like I say, it'll make their lives a lot easier if they choose one. It doesn't matter what you feel more comfortable with. If you feel like that's the way you want to go, stick with it. Fuck whatever anyone else has to say. At that point, you're just saving yourself a huge headache. So it's
Yeah.
great for this community to get together and actually have an outreach and stuff for people to have the safe space to even engage in this type of activity.
Yeah, and I think like the more it's put into like different forms of like media, like because usually you think about drag, you got the drag shows,
Well, yeah,
flamboyant.
like yeah, it's like a very showy. It's like a burlesque thing. It's
Yeah.
basically a burlesque show.
Right, but to think about drag in like D&D sense sounds like kind of fun. Like,
I mean,
Uh,
I totally could see that in a campaign
yeah, it sounds just like you're cosplaying for your character,
on the real.
You know what? I'm down for cosplay in general, and that's really what drag is just very
Cosplay.
too much makeup cosplay.
They're dressing up as how they see themselves, how they want to be. What's the difference between cosplay really? It's character, but
Character. That's the word.
Oh, it looks like the premiere is actually for June 28th.
oh, nice. So that's pretty soon. So about 10 days for that. We're recording on this Saturday.
Yeah, I guess it was announced. They're like doing trailers and stuff.
Hell yeah. Go Dimension 20.
Well, so they're making a whole thing out of it.
Yeah,
Hashtag poison.
as we all know, companies do love pride.
I can't stand how many companies just kind of jump on because, like, these companies aren't marketing that stuff when they're like in other countries. Like, yeah, sure, you're with Pride up until the point that you gotta, save face over in the Middle East. Like,
Yeah, right. If you bout it, be bout it. It'll be flaky.
yeah, it's just like if you give a fuck, sure, just like you're either all in. You're or indifferent or you're not. I'm okay with people being indifferent, but don't go around lying about it. Like, dude, I hate like my biggest issue with the whole Pride Month thing is just like there's so much superficial shit. It's just like I hate the companies. Like I love my gay friends and all my people that got their shit that they're dealing with their identities and sexual orientations and whatever. But like I got my friends, give a fuck about them, but I'm just not about the whole. I gotta deal with a whole month. I hate holidays. I fucking hate holidays. First off, you go through Christmas season, red and green all month, Christmas songs everywhere. And then, like, you got to go through Halloween, and everyone's like spooky, scary skeletons, and it's like all orange and black. And then, like, you got June, that's all like rainbows. Like, I'm gonna be blinded by a fucking rainbow for a whole month. Dude, delegate it to a day or a week. Like, Jews got a week for their holiday, like Hanukkah. Y'all can take a fucking week, a gay pride week. That's it right there. Take a week, but like, I can't stand marketing. Like, there's just too much marketing. You get like a St. Patrick's Day. We're going to spend like 2 weeks. Everything's green. Everyone is like, oh, top of the morning to you, lad. I'm all Irish today.
Everyone's talking like a leprechaun.
Yeah, it's just like, just done. Hate holidays. They were fun when I was 5, but as a parent, I'm just done.
Yeah,
I still speak in an Irish brogue every now and then.
So funny. Yeah, it's all companies just trying to get that money and like audience.
I get the hustle, but it's just like, it's so fatiguing as a person living in the society.
We do, in fact, live in a society.
That's what you call it.
Yeah,
I should have. I wish someone had given me a memo when when I was signing up to live in a society.
you know, right? What the hell?
I want my
Yeah.
I want my
I
refund.
can't even, dude. I can't even. Like, I get hit with all these fees, these subscription fees for being in a society, and like, it's a scaling fee at that.
Man,
So like, if you make more money, they take more out of you.
if a motherfucker should get fees for being in a society, show me where the motherfucking spaceship is. 'Cause I gotta
Exactly.
get none of
That's what
that.
I'm saying.
Yeah, like, if you could choose different societies, but like they all got fees. I'm just saying, like, when you turn 18 and you have to start paying your fees, that's code for taxes. You should, like, they should give you like a spreadsheet. Be like, okay, this country has this subscription amount. This country has that subscription amount.
I think, truthfully, like if we have to, subscribe to all of these confirmations, we have to pay all the different taxes. I think we should know about the damn aliens and all the shit.
Meanwhile,
Why they gotta keep all these damn sneaky secrets, acting all sussy all the time, like we don't know what's going on.
bruh, one last touch on that taxes thing. Isn't England still getting like a lot of the tax money and shit that we pay to our government?
Probably.
Right.
I don't
'cause
even know,
doesn't it hurt,
man.
like the Queen of England makes like $150,000 an hour
Yeah.
on like some real
Dude.
statistics. Like what?
They don't
is
even
that?
I
have
hear all kinds of shit about England, but they got a king again. So I was like, oh hey, was it King Charles or some shit? Like, fuck.
You know what's scary,
What y'all doing
though?
with that constitutional monarchy?
It's
we have
biblical
any
as well,
English
though.
listeners. Tell us what's going on.
God
Actually,
save the
that's
Queen.
good for D&D. A constitutional monarchy. How many
Yo.
people run that,
Not many.
dude?
That be mutiny on this side of town.
Like, everyone's talking about like there's always the players that want to overthrow the king. It's like, sure, overthrow the king, but this is a constitutional monarchy, sir. What about the prime minister?
Yeah, right. Congress.
Like, you get that one player on their high horse. I believe no person should rule by birthright alone. Well, he doesn't. Like, there is birthright. He kind of rules. Like, he's got the right to count every chicken in the country, collect some taxes and shit. But like, for the most part, he's kind of like a figurehead. He shows up and cuts ribbons at ceremonies. Like, the prime minister really does all the work.
Gives you a golden key, like.
Yeah, key to the city. The king shows up to give you the key to the city. The prime minister shows you up to issue you documents for tax evasion because no player pays taxes.
Yeah, so I literally saw a video about this recently about like, what if you had to tax your players?
That'd be intense.
Yo, that would be really funny. Like, imagine you just have a guard come to your players and you're just like, hey, so you stayed the night here, so you have to pay the taxes for the 5 of you.
With like an offering
I
plate.
think your party won't try to kill that man instantly. Like,
Nah,
Yeah,
he's out.
like, honestly.
Man, messing up my goal. I'm trying to get me a new little beat me stick. You heard?
you got like 3,000 gold in your pocket. You're like, man, get the hell out of here. Like, only
You can
5 goals from everyone. Like, it's fine.
I tell you, that's a way to vibe check your players on their political stances when it comes to taxing. Because, like, okay, cool. In real life, you're gung ho for tax the rich at 70%. Now we're going to tax you at 70%, but you get paid.
Tax the adventurers.
Killer.
And it was in that day Sean learned he wasn't a socialist. He was actually a capitalist. He just didn't know it yet.
I mean, like, people, in situations of, like, if there's adventurers, you got the guilds and stuff, like, the people that have the money would be the successful adventurers and the politicians. People that run the guilds.
Like, would you feel good paying, like, a 60% tax as an adventurer, going out every day, risking your life?
That is how, like, man. I found this
Fuck.
4,000 gold in this dungeon. I fought for this.
Forgotten Realms, Bernie Sanders. The 1% must pay its fair share. Fair share, dude. I was out there looting this fucking dungeon. I fought 3 skeletons for this bag of gold. Fuck off.
Yeah, you got a treasure tax. Fuck yourself.
That stuff aside, if we're going to talk like bureaucracy and stuff, let's jump over to the next article.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. New TSR files for bankruptcy, freezing legal disputes with the Dungeons and Dragons publisher, Wizards of the Coast. Ooh.
So
TSR getting fucked.
Some people may be like, that's a lot of words, but what does that mean? Orion, can you please spell it out?
TSR is the company that originally created Dungeons and Dragons, like Gary Gygax, the OG that everybody knows when it comes to D&D. Like Gary Gygax, if you know D&D or have heard of it, you probably know this household name. Nobody's heard of the other guy that helped invent the Dungeons and Dragons or any of that other stuff. But going over this stuff, basically this means that they're going to be liquidating assets, selling off shit. It's like anything that they have going good for them. Oh, because of this lawsuit, they're just like, we're bankrupt, sell it all, we're fucked.
Damn. So what does that mean for them? What happens next?
Well, I'm going to read a little bit of this article and we get a little glimpse into that. So the ongoing sparring between D&D publisher Wizards of the Coast and the company popularly referred to as New TSR were postponed on June 12th thanks to TSR's recent bankruptcy filing. First reported by Polygon, TSR filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy in North Carolina's Eastern Bankruptcy Court on the 8th. A few days later, they collected the necessary paperwork from TSR's legal representation through the bankruptcy filing. And they're having their properties, assets, and stuff being liquidated to pay off as much debt as possible. So the legal battle has kind of like put them in the ground. Like, how are you going to fight Hasbro? You know what I mean?
Yeah, Hasbro is a corporate monster. So good luck.
Yeah, because Wizards are backed by the company that made Monopoly. You thought you were going to win this fight?
Yeah, they basically told you what they've been doing. Like, it's right there for you.
Yeah, Monopoly. They got a Monopoly D&D edition. You know what's up.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Rest in peace, TSR.
Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff going on with that. Like, I believe the new TSR was kind of taken over by the son of Gary Gygax, because he's like trying to carry the torch, bring back the OG old school how D&D used to be. But Wizards not having it, Hasbro having it even less.
Absolutely. Makes sense. Companies don't like change. Anything that could threaten their business model, their profit margins, blah, blah, blah.
It's wild, dude. Like, there was a convention last year, and TSR got banned from going into the convention. And it's just like, what do you mean? Like, TSR was, that's where a vast majority of all of this started. Like, sure, there was wargaming before that, but, like, the tabletop RPGs that we know today, like, most of it owes credence to the TSR in D&D, A lot of it came from that. Mm-hmm. And here we are seeing them, like, kicked out of conventions because, we don't like your kind here.
That's just crazy.
Well, a lot of people associate TSR with the more gatekeepy side of the community.
That makes sense. They want they're like the OG Pokemon fans, like.
Yeah, they've been around the longest. They've seen a lot, and you get a lot of older people in it. So it's like, I get that, but at the same time, just pay respect to Grandpa.
Yeah, that's all they're asking for. A little respect.
I mean, they could have just
Forget
left
the
him
roots,
alone.
you
It's
know?
TSR was never a threat, you know?
Yeah. They just wanted to be a part of it.
Oh well. Maybe I got the wrong opinion on the situation, but that's okay. Because our next article brings us to something that we can all agree on when it comes to opinions. Y'all heard of Cocaine Bear. Fucking awesome, right?
I heard the movie was awful, but like fun idea.
Yeah, it's a fun idea. And this is where the idea kind of sees its big limelight. There's a Cocaine Bear tabletop RPG based on the Honey Heist system. Now, I ain't never heard of the Honey Heist system, but you had me at Cocaine Bear TTRPG. So,
What is that even? Is a cocaine bear like the big bad? Like, what does that mean? Like,
I don't fucking know. I certainly hope so. I imagine it's like if you were playing a Friday the 13th game and everyone's running from Jason Bourne, or like maybe you're playing like a
Bourne.
Facial recognition got a hit. Jesus Christ, that's Jason Bourne.
well, no, not Jason Bourne. The other one. I don't do horror flicks.
Jason Bourne.
The Bourne Legacy. Y'all know this shit. I don't. But anyway, just I would imagine like the Cocaine Bear's the big bad. You gotta deal with that, but you're like normal fucking people. And how does a normal person deal with Cocaine Bear? I don't know.
So what is it? What's the cocaine bear TTRPG? What's going on?
Okay, so the players take the role of the woodland creatures who have gained sentience after ingesting some magical cocaine they found. With their newfound intelligence, the characters decide to carry out a heist. Written out on a piece of paper, they pilfer from the owner of the cocaine. However, pulling off the heist won't be easy and will require the players stealing even more cocaine to ensure they won't revert back to their ordinary animal forms. Wait, this is very different from what my mind went to. Like, I'm thinking, like, okay, survival, you gotta keep away from Cocaine Bear, you gotta hold up, like, it's coming for you, but nah.
That's so funny. That just sounds like a fun one-shot idea.
Yeah, like, it definitely does. So, like, these little woodland creatures.
You got, like, an army of, like, cracked out squirrels. Like,
Yeah, like, dude, cracked out Tanuki is just like, I need more cocaine. I have the intelligence and now I must steal more cocaine to keep my sentience going.
That concept literally just shifted to straight up like Ghost Recon Breakpoint hashtags stealing from straight to Don himself.
Dude, it's like fucking like over the hedge with drugs. I love it.
Bro.
GTA San Andreas mission, like
Hoodwink times 5. Like, nah, this is crazy.
funny.
Okay,
I mean,
the
it's
gameplay
not-
of Cocaine Owlbear is based on Honey Heist, with players having 2 core stats to use, Cocaine and Woodland Creature. Which stat players use will depend on the type of action they're performing, with more animalistic acts such as fighting or tearing using Woodland Creature, and acts that require more intelligence using Cocaine.
All right. Naturally.
At the start of the adventure, both stats begin at 3. However, whenever things go wrong for a character, they must remove a stat point from Cocaine to Woodland Creature. Should a player succeed in an action involving speed or intelligence, they can move a stat from Woodland Creature to Cocaine. Should all 6 stats points ever fall into Woodland Creature, the character reverts back to an ordinary animal. But if all 6 points go into Cocaine, the character betrays their fellow animals and fully dives into a life of crime.
Nah.
Wow.
Oh boy.
All right.
Oh, there's more.
Oh, great.
No way.
Yeah.
But wait.
Players can also voluntarily move points back and forth between stats.
Oh, so you
Players can-
Voluntarily?
Yes.
Is that
And-
like an immediate action?
like just a bonus action.
Just cocaine.
Okay, but that seems a little strange.
Nah.
This is so funny. I love it.
Players can choose between a variety of animal types when creating their cocaine owlbear character, including an owlbear, ferret, raccoon, and unicorn, as well as a number of other of descriptors. Their role in the party and the gear they use, the game masters can randomly generate a scenario by rolling dice for aspects such as location, security, and who's in charge of the players. The place that the players are robbing. Cocaine Owlbear was created by Mike Lafferty, who created several other rules for light tabletop RPGs based on the Honey Heist system, such as Redneck Ninja and High Moon, the Great Werewolf Robbery, under the Fainting Goat Games publishing name. They can download the digital PDF version of Cocaine Owlbear for $1 or what is that? That's not a euro. I don't know what that symbol is, but or more for from the store. I'm gonna save that link right there because that's great.
That sounds hilarious. So, guys, please go check that out if you're looking for a fun, maybe one-shot idea. We've got some people who want to get into D&D for the first time. Give them a little taste of what it might be like.
Or even those that are pretty well-rounded in what they know. If you have any concept of what you have developed on this, you could always shoot Silent Siphon a little, DM on the Discord for me. We can talk some.
Oh yes, and now you running a Cocaine Owlbear game. Now I'm done. Let's do it. I'm gonna play like a turtle.
I'll be there. I'm more stoked for the Soul Eater one.
Yeah, the Soul Eater.
Okay. Well, the prelude to the Soul Eater is me being the cocaine turtle.
Look, I know for a fact Sienna and Micah will be down. They love Soul Eater.
Oh, dude. Those two are wild, and they're basically ready to be a team.
Yeah, right?
Dude, tabletop news this week has been wild. If you thought that was fun, check this out. Defend the last Waffle House standing against the zombie apocalypse in this cheeky 2-page tabletop RPG.
Hell yeah, let's go. This is the one-shot episode, boys.
Where are Twinkies?
Dude, welcome to Dungeons and One-Shots, the show that brings you dungeons and one-shots.
This is perfect. I love it.
I'm here. I'm for it. We got Cocaine Bear, Soul Eater. We got the drag queen stories. We got the fucking Waffle House and zombies. Dude, it's a smorgasbord. It's a whole platter.
I'm sure if we got our DMs and the Discord together, we could come up with a module for Soul Eater.
Oh, absolutely.
With the souls and everything, That could be cool.
It won't take long at all.
But dude, this Waffle House thing, 2-page game, and it imagines life at a diner during a zombie apocalypse. Dude, I don't need a game to imagine a group of people holed up in a Waffle House like it's the fucking Walking Dead.
It's awesome.
In fact, I would assume that you have to expect your character to die. Don't get attached. We only got 2 pages of content to work with here.
Yeah. Chances are you ain't making it out.
It's set in whatever southern U.S. town or suburban shopping district the players desire. Cracker Barrel has fallen and puts the group in the well-worn shoes of a Waffle House crew who have been told to survive a horde of ravenous zombies for 6 hours while the National Guard rushes to their rescue. Borrowing the simple and popular 2-stat system from mainstays such as Lasers and Feelings and Honey Heist. Okay, so apparently Honey Heist has a good system to steal shit from.
Nice. This is fitting in very nicely with our parody book idea.
I'm about it. Oh yeah, we decided to start a bit of a D&D source book full of parody stuff. because like there's you throw in memes, you throw in like stereotypes, like the whole deal. We have like a gun-fu monk. That sounds like a great subclass.
Wow.
Yeah.
Kung Fu Monk.
Yeah, you know gun-fu, like the
yeah,
Matrix
big
or
facts.
John Wick.
Sounds like Noel from Blast Blue.
Hey.
Yeah, you get it.
Yeah, getting mingy with it. Gunslinger from the Dark Tower. Yeah. Well, he's more like a gun fu mage.
Mm.
Speaking of Gun Fu Mage, if Davin ever comes back, we'll have a Gun Fu or a Gun Mage in our game.
Spicy.
He was kind of just like like a gunslinger. He was like, I want to pick up some magic. I was like, magic, you say?
If I can hop back into my old Dropbox, I do have a couple homebrew builds that I was working with. One of them in which is a Grimoire Magus.
Ooh.
Okay.
Really cool.
And it's fully developed. I just have to log back into it. I'll send you some.
I can see that being like a wizard path,
Oh,
Order of the
easy.
Grimoire.
It's basically like spell books.
Yeah, right.
I do like the idea of like mixing magic and guns.
I mean,
but
who doesn't?
I can't help but think of like fucking Spider Laird. Y'all seen that? It's a Scottish Spider-Man in an alternate reality, and he's like out there in a spider kilt with a flintlock shooting webs at people.
I love it.
It's just like, damn, dude, you didn't have to go that route, but I'm glad you did.
If only he had the bagpipes.
Nah.
Who says he doesn't?
Word.
Spider pipes.
Spider pipes.
Yeah, he starts playing and just like, and it's just like boom, webs, boom, 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 boom.
He shoots the webs out of the bagpipes.
Out of the bagpipes.
Yeah.
Dude, the bagpipes are the arcane focus that bards need.
The bagpipes
Exactly.
actually are like the spider limbs that come from it.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Aesthetics, man, it works. It
Bagpipe
works.
is just a giant spider.
Yeah.
Dude. Oh, the thing that we were talking about, the Waffle House, it's a pay what you want kind of thing.
What do you mean pay what you want?
Welcome to Cracker Barrel now. How can I help you? You help yourself to our twist selections of fried turkey neck bone, collard greens, corn cob.
I ate at Cracker Barrel the other day.
Oh yeah? I haven't been there in a long time.
That's enough sugar there, honey child.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
You need to move your great son.
You don't look well. Can I offer you some water?
I'll put your warm mace over here for you, honey.
Cracker Barrel has fallen to the Waffle House. We must defend our territory.
Ooh, watch, I'll go ahead and move your spell book over here.
Oh my goodness.
Dude, I put it in chat. We'll put that in the description for anyone that's curious about the Waffle House adventure. If they want to take a break from their regular scheduled game for... Listen, if you can't sell your players on defending a Waffle House from a zombie apocalypse while waiting for FEMA to show up, which they never will because they're fucking FEMA, then I don't know what you're doing. You might have to try to sell them on the cocaine bear, but if you can't sell either of those ideas to your players for a single night, you're just not good at being a public speaker. So maybe reconsider the DMing.
Word. Be real interesting. Kind of like I see like the intro start for that Waffle House thing with you ever seen the first season of Cowboy Bebop with the not that one. Oh boy. With the detective. The two detectives with the gun. Mad cheesy. Oh boy.
I think so. I think I know what you're talking about.
Oh man. Oh, well, drew blank on that one. Bring that back. 10,000 anime.
I
Gotta be in
know,
there
right?
somewhere.
I made a Soul Eater channel in the Discord.
Yes.
Get
I love the enthusiasm.
that thing going.
Yeah. Yeah, get the kettles warmed.
Oh,
Dude, I'm all about this Soul Eater thing because I love the concept of getting players to synergize like that.
yeah,
Not to mention, there's a whole lot of creativity. Like, even if you're playing a weapon, it's just like you can fight on your own as a weapon, or like team up with your partner to get all that good stats. So like you're fighting together. So like it's like a fusion practically.
yeah, basically, you could have like a stat for your souls, and then when you get that 100, you evolve into your death scythe form. Like,
Yeah.
could go hard.
The way I had it set up for the system that I mentioned earlier for my homebrew rules, you could add inspiration dice to reduce the distance between the rolls,
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, say one player gets an 80, the other player gets like a 42, then it's like, okay, that's a whole lot of difference between the two. Then one of them decides, okay, I'm going to roll my inspiration, then reduce the gap. Gets a 15. Okay, you reduce that gap by 15. You're going to be that much closer to having a good or better outcome.
Right. I agree.
And then comes synchronization dice, which it's rewarded the same way as inspiration dice, only unlike inspiration dice, you can have more than one.
Mm-hmm.
So if your player gets inspiration, it's like, okay, they already got inspiration. I'm going to award sync dice for their good RP.
Yes.
You give them sync dice for working together, and then they use the sync dice to do team actions.
Right. Okay.
Really fight that lone wolf mentality with that.
Now, a lot of DMs I noticed too, like, don't really put out a lot of incentive for RP. I think really RP is really the fun of the game,
Oh yeah, definitely. I love RP. I always think it's really fun, and if you can get your players really into it, you can get something fun going.
Really like sink into the role you're playing,
So how did you get into playing D&D?
Well, I grew up in New Haven, Connecticut, smack in the hood. I went to
that's rough.
I went to a charter school that was outside the public system, of course. But I used to always go on the city bus because our school didn't have the funds for like its own like school bus, and I'd get dropped off downtown, instead of going back directly home, and I will always go to the library.
Mhm.
And the library downtown had a teen center where we had like gaming and a lot of like people that it was really new, and like people were coming. We had like Super Smash Bros tournaments and everything like that. So I
Right.
really clicked in with a lot of people my age. And then I ended up integrating with another set of group that were kind of in the same multi-purpose area, but they were a little bit older. And I noticed them all sitting down on the table, and it had something that looked like a map. And yeah, it was a linoleum map, and I came over and asked to see what was up. I heard about Dungeons and Dragons. I was, invited for a campaign in high school, but I never really like stuck it through. So
Right.
really, I really got into it with this campaign that was ran by a man named Winter Lozada,
Mhm.
and him and a Jewish man by the name of Zachary. And it was probably one of the best co-DM ran games I've ever to this day
Ooh.
can remember. So my first experience was actually a really great one. Started
That's a
out
very rare experience too. Not to cut
right,
you off or anything. Like
yeah,
having a functional co-DM ran game, that's very rare.
yes, consistently too, like really consistently. Um, and I just really appreciated the time and effort they put into developing the characters in the game, to
I
where
like.
they actually had a full sense of personality, and like the way that the interactions were with the NPCs was my favorite part in understanding like the whole like imaginative aspect of Dungeons and Dragons. And I'm already like an artist. I'm not like an artist. I'm already an artist,
Mhm.
and it's the imagination point that really piques my fancy. And hey, man, we didn't even have minis at first when we started. You
Right.
know, the old-fashioned way. And then once we got the miniatures, and then the campaign progressed, I've made it through Epic, and it just got so in depth and in tune. And he incorporated one special thing that I really loved was the world events with the pretty much the boss fights. Demogorgon was the first deity that I defeated before I reached
Ah,
Epic.
Oh, nice.
That
the
was
classic.
Pretty
very
awesome.
very interesting campaign.
Nice.
Yep. And then yeah, it was a return of the dragons because for thousands of years there was a war that happened, and then thus forth they were off the face of the earth. They came back and things got hairy. It was cool. And the real quick point about like deities and whatnot.
Mhm.
Most deities in Dungeons and Dragons in 3.5 have this thing called an aspect,
Right.
to where like they don't fully die, and what you're fighting them isn't really the full deity itself, right?
Right. It's like a percentage of like
Exactly.
their image, like a projection of their power.
Yeah.
Yeah, an avatar of sorts.
Right. Yeah. Almost like an
Mhm.
avatar. Yeah.
And like I've dealt with a whole three aspects in
Oh yeah.
one big weekend, and that was the greatest time I've ever had in Dungeons and Dragons.
That's awesome, man. Yeah,
That's
we would love to
wild,
get you in a
man.
game.
Yeah. Nah, that'd be lit. Honestly, that'll be really fun to integrate the minds
Mhm.
and
Yeah. Eventually, we would love to
shenanigans.
have several campaigns going on at once. Like.
Hmm. I don't think I've played with you for more than 1 or 2 sessions.
Mm. Yeah, a lot of the sessions that I did ran on campus at Job Corps, like I didn't really get to see you much because you were living off campus. You know, you were commuting.
Yeah, I didn't actually get to play in any of those sessions at the time, and then when I went back the second time, I ended up running a one shot as a going away
Mhm.
gift to all my friends there, which ended up getting an audience of people that had never played or seen it played, and they're like, "What the fuck's
Yeah,
going on?" Because
exactly.
then we had a bard that another player shoves his face in horse shit, doesn't really care for the bard, and then the bard decides to take revenge by going around the town and convincing half of them that it's their moral obligation to kick children, and and
Hey
then
yo.
convincing the other half of the town that this cult of child kickers must be stopped.
What the fuck?
Yo,
That's wild.
yeah, Geneva.
I was very liberal with the natural 20s being successful, and it was hilarious.
Nat 20s are spooky.
Yeah, and that was the general impression that I had at the time. Like nowadays, if someone gets a nat 20 on a skill check, it's like, okay, cool.
Yeah, it's like, all right, you
That's cute.
probably made it, like, for the most part.
That-
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'll give you the best possible outcome, but don't expect to be, breaking physics.
Right, like an all of success, you suddenly, like, break the world. Like,
Surprise.
you see into the afterlife.
It's
Like,
never that easy.
Yeah, but it was a lot of fun, and I'd definitely like to play as like a kind of a team at some point, because the one time we did try to play together was really fun, because like I was playing a protective older brother, and you were like playing like the kawaii des little younger sister. Got that Wani-chan moe.
I
Mhm.
have to have you come in as, like, an NPC or something.
I'm always down.
You come in like a villain.
Oh, villain, however, bro. Like, there's a lot of persona to this man.
Yeah, he's got voices, and he's got lots of stuff going for that.
Yeah, man. Actually, I got this. Working on building this esports team up. Actually, I know that in my town there is a game arcade center that was newly incorporated, and they do like host tournaments, card game tournaments, video games, Super Smash Bros, and they got like a full out arcade, and it's actually
That's
pretty
cool.
cool. It's really
That's awesome.
cool. So nah, I've been doing my research and studying and whatnot, and I found out exactly what it takes to actually register a squad for esports. Eh. So
Might
It's
I
cool
ask
stuff.
what game you're looking esports in?
well, as of right now, I have a really major MOBA focus, but secondarily, definitely fighting games because there's always a lot of money in that,
Right,
and
definitely.
local champions and stuff off of PlayStation. First prize is normally $500,
Mhm.
and hey, man, that's $500 I got to make sitting on your ass.
Yeah, shit.
That's
Look, if
it's not
anybody out
bad.
there, if anybody out there listening is interested in getting involved, hit up the Nerd Militia on Twitter, socials, whatever.
Oh, absolutely. I want to see where all this goes, because like you get 500, that's enough to fund some of your projects. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, big time. But my major funds is gonna come from my business with my wifey.
Hey.
Ooh, a regular entrepreneur up in here.
Connoisseur, of course, an entrepreneur. You heard? I made the swashbuckler in D&D.
Swashbucklers are fantastic. I'm so glad they brought them back as a proper subclass in 5th edition.
I think
Yeah.
on that note, it's a good time to take a quick break.
Fennec's Peculiar Bestiary Tome, or known by its previous title, Can I Fuck It?, is a proud sponsor of Dungeons and Talkshows, from ravenous Rakshasa and heavenly hags to delicious dragons. All of these and more are covered within the Peculiar Bestiary Tome. Have you ever looked at a beholder who was looking at you with all those piercing eyes and thought, I wonder, can I fuck that? Or a red dragon, and tried to figure out the best position to please it? Well, so did Fennec. And that's why this tome covers every single species known to the world, and even in the other realms. It attempts to give you the upper hand and the lower organs of the sexy, the scary beings you might see out there. Including with every entry is the breeding compatibility, depictions of reproduction organs, common mistakes to avoid, and unique reproduction facts, and more. Included in the newest copy is the fuckability score given by the host of Dungeons and Talkshows. Pick up your copy by sending a letter to enter address here, and included enter gold amount here, as well as your preferred mailing address, and happy humping.
The author and their publishing and editing team do not necessarily agree or disagree with the thoughts, actions, beliefs, possible crimes, and anarchy that may be suggested by the Dungeons and Talkshows team, any of their guests. Fennec is an entirely separate individual and is in no way related to the D&T editor of the same name. And we are back.
Welcome back to the episode, guys.
These sponsors are getting crazy, man.
That was something for sure, yeah.
It's a wild ride.
Yeah, we don't discriminate with our sponsors. We take what we can get.
Yeah,
We're
we ride
equal
all
opportunity employer over here.
All dragons were created equal.
Oh, you got echoed.
Hold on, I'm gonna be the Discord mute. There we go.
Pow.
All right, welcome back to the episode, guys. We're just heading into the final stretches here. I think we have the DMs, the Scriptify with Orion.
Oh, yes.
That's our word of the week.
Describify. Descriptions. Oh, that was good.
On the hour.
Ooh, with that tenor.
After
Yeah.
hours.
Ooh.
Ooh, I'd like to. That's what I want for the stinger for that. We go off the Doofenshmirtz thing.
I do love Doofenshmirtz, man.
Orion's descriptive wording. Describify.
Ooh, I like it.
Describe.
Get real saucy with it.
See, he's got it. He's got
Yeah,
it. That's the way to go.
Yeah, you gotta have the background singing in there.
Oh yeah.
So for our descriptive word this week, we got topple. Because like too many times when people are DMing, it's just like, okay, you're describing something that has been brought to the ground. It's like, okay, it fell down. It's like, oh yeah, that's your description. It fell down. Nah, it toppled down. Like, oh, big old Jenga tower.
Oh no!
Like if you say toppled, that's like shit's everywhere, all over the place.
Spaghetti sauce. Get out of here!
Exactly.
I like it. Yeah, topple can be used in, I mean, really in anything. You bring the large creature to its knees, you toppled it to the ground.
Ooh, woo.
Exactly.
Ooh.
Yeah, I can fuck it.
Yeah. If you can topple it, you can fuck it.
Yeah.
If it's toppleable, it's mountable.
Yeah. They have
Okay.
submissive and breedable. We got toppleable and fuckable.
Well, it's just like, he toppled from his horse.
Mm.
Ooh, that sounds good. It's like, and much better than he fell from his horse. Like, sure, that might work for like a JoJo situation where it's like, hey, tell him to eat shit and fall off his horse.
Like, yeah,
But
that's what I
but
think about.
Good
When I
one.
hear toppled off his horse.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He busted his ass.
Whoop,
he
yo,
busted his ass.
ping powed his shit.
Alright. So, moving on. What homebrew have you brought us this week?
Well, I bring to you the arcane tradition Shadow Wizard Money Gang.
Oh my god!
Ooh.
You know what? I've seen the Shadow Wizard thing going around, especially on iFunny. We all know about the D-Gens on iFunny. Explain to us what's going on with this Shadow Wizard gang.
Okay, so the Shadow Wizard Money Gang. I thought it was interesting because like too often we see with these arcane traditions, it's like, okay, it's very straightforward, very like, okay, it's a tradition, but like this is a tradition of criminality.
Oh,
And
how so?
I appreciate that, as a criminally minded person.
Excuse me.
Well, I like to think that I understand the criminal element. Like, you ever look at something and be like, yes, I know just how I would break that law, how I might go around and, I would steal something like that,
You're not to
you walk
say
into-
that Dungeons and Talk shows condone the crime,
What can I say? I like shiny things.
Yeah, if you partake in the crimes, we are not going to advocate for you, nor tell
Well,
you
we won't
what
stop
to do.
you either, but
Yeah, exactly. We're advocates of do whatever the fuck you want.
very, very much so.
Don't
for
let
me,
a guy in an office tell you what to do.
In my case, it's just a matter of like, I like to plot things. That's just it's kind of like a thought exercise, really. Like, if I was up to no good, how would I do that?
I like to ask people this question all the time. If you were to do a crime, what do you think you could get away with? What do you think is your capability?
That's a dangerous question.
It is a dangerous question.
Dangerous.
Probably shouldn't answer it here, but
Definitely EMPing someone's truck.
what?
Oh yeah, big facts.
All right, I mean, yeah, that's fair.
That's like, of course.
Yeah, like
You got an EMP. You gotta see if it works. I'm just saying,
dude.
You could have a dud on your hands. Pay $500,000 for a dud.
Good.
Nah, man. I can make an EMP easy. I got some wire in the garage, 16 gauge wire. Get some of those 18650 batteries from your vape, and then Unless you are a cheapskate, you just rip them out of a laptop. That's fair
Yeah.
game too.
But you gotta
Get yourself.
cryo it.
Nah, man, I'll just get myself a big ol' magnet bar. Slip that right in the coil. Good to go. Make sure that I don't have anything within a 20-meter radius.
Woo! Gotta set them.
I mean,
ions off,
what?
man. What? Boom! I'll tell you about self-driving cars.
Elon Musk ain't ready for me. I render the whole fleet useless.
Yeah.
Fuck a Unabomber. We got this guy.
I'm just saying, someone crosses you. Why won't my car start? Maybe it's the battery.
Bling! Please,
Nah.
Bling! Please put your seatbelts on. We're experiencing turbulence. Boom! No.
Well, the thing about an EMP is like the only thing that'd be good in your car afterwards would be the battery. And the thing is, if you're not getting any power to your car, every jackass in the area that within a 10-mile radius that wants to backseat tell you how to fix your car is going to be like, oh, you better check the battery. But I digress. Back to the Shadow Money Gang.
yes, please. Get back to
Yeah, whatever your crimes are great, but how does that make me money?
What's that doing for me?
Out there in the unchecked depths of the multiverse lies a group of, unlike any other wizard tradition, known to the realms. Ooh, learn to read, Orion. Their magic is fully untamed by the security conventions and who writes this? Their garments immaculate in otherworldly style. Their activities endorsed by the shadowy masterminds who pull the strings. Oh yeah, just it's the deep state. It's the deep state of wizards.
Okay.
Got it. Enough said.
Yeah,
Understandable.
big facts. Oh boy.
Okay, so we're starting out with some of their basic abilities. Okay, love for casting. It really says, "Hey yo, I heard you like casting spells, so we put spells inside your spells."
All right, they got my attention.
This is clearly a meme subclass. Starting at 2nd level, whenever you use your action to cast a cantrip, you may forego your bonus action for that turn and expend a spell slot of 5th level or lower to cast it an additional number of times equal to the expended spell slot's level. This can only be done once per turn. You may use this feature a number of times equal to half your intelligence modifier, rounded down, regaining expended uses when you finish a long rest. Okay.
All right.
That could be good for like a firebolt, like oh shit, I need more firebolt. So
my slots got slots.
Exactly, like you got firebolt, right? And you're going to get like 2d10 by the time you're at like what, 5th level, and that's when you're getting like 3rd level slots. So that's 2d10, and then you're going to do that 3 additional times because you're expending a 3rd level slot. That's a 2, 4, 6, 8 d10. I think that's better than 8d6. That's basically better than a fireball.
Big facts.
And it's like like you can put it all in one. Like it's like a pick and choose. Like you got the damage without having to get the AOE. So that's good for a burst. Or like if let's say you utilized it with Mold Earth, multiple casts of Mold Earth on this at the same time. Fucking sand coffin followed with a sand burial.
Ooh.
With a sand eulogy.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, I like it.
Yeah, you dig the hole all around them, you bury them in it. Done. Good to go.
Is the celerity synchronicity combo still a thing in 5e?
I'm not familiar with this.
Oh
Me
my
either.
goodness.
What is this?
Uh, hmm. So synchronicity is a spell, I believe, an epic level spell
Right, I think I've
that
heard about
allows
this.
it pretty much doubles your cast in reduction your casting time. And think instantaneous spell. And celerity, I think, it's a time slow spell. And if you know one thing about D&D, them turns be everything.
Mm-hmm.
So you're talking about Dante Virgil straight V trigger time stop and constantly able to recast the spell for free.
That's sick.
It's disgusting. Breaking
Damn.
games was a thing,
Facts.
Yeah,
but even that's
that
not
edition
enough
was
to-
rife with game-breaking mechanics.
However, in that self though, like, cause synchronicity, celerity, chain lightning was disgusting for a wizard. Like
Ooh.
epic level wizards are just filthy. So I love casting spells. However,
If you like spell casting, you're gonna like this. The next subclass ability we got here: Shadow Government Sponsorship.
my God, I seen that. Is that under the origin stories of the meme?
Well, right here it says this spell is sponsored by, in quotes. When you adopt this tradition at second level, you are branded with the Shadow Government. Okay, your brand. They didn't use the right your.
Oh no.
Because it's not yours.
I'm so critical. Okay, your branded deal with the Shadow Government grants you access to a wider array of magic to draw upon. The spells shown on the table below are added to your spell book as you obtain the spell slots required to cast them. Once you gain access to one of these spells, you always have it prepared, and it doesn't count against the number of spells you have prepared each day. If you gain access to a spell that doesn't appear on the wizard spell list, the spell is nonetheless a wizard spell for you.
Okay.
This is actually something you never see with wizards, so that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Starting out,
I like
Thaumaturgy and Sapping Sting for cantrips.
Mhm.
Then second level spell, Enthrall and Jim's Glowing Coin. Hey, shout out to Ack Inc. here.
Mm.
Fourth level, we got Compulsion and Confusion.
All right.
Sixth, we got Eye Bite and Globe of Invulnerability.
Right. Yeah, I've seen that recently.
And then finally at eighth, we got Feeble Mind and Glibness.
Jedi mind trick.
Yeah. So got all that crazy shit.
Oh boy, Shadow World for sure.
Then, moving on up to the next one, Swag Messiah.
No. No.
Bard's been real quiet since this beat dropped.
Oh my god. Have you guys
Starting
seen
from-
the Swag Pope memes?
No, I don't
Dude,
think so.
This whole thing is covered in memes. Like,
AI
starting from
is the
6th
biggest.
level, as long as you are wearing a set of fine clothes, you gain the following benefits.
Oh,
You may
no.
use your intelligence modifier instead of charisma for any persuasion, intimidation, deception, or performance check you make.
Okay.
If you are not wearing armor,
check.
you may use your intelligence modifier instead of dexterity when calculating your AC.
Drip check, drip check.
When you are subjected to an ability or a spell that allows you to make a charisma wisdom saving throw, charisma or wisdom, to reduce or negate its effect, you can change it to an intelligence saving throw instead.
Your boy just broke his glasses.
No.
Shit.
Coming to you live, Sam has busted his glasses.
I'm sorry. Continue.
Accepting donations.
Next is Out of the Dungeon. This is the one, boys. I'm feeling it.
Oh yeah.
I'm
These
really
quotes.
feeling it.
Feeling it now,
And-
Mr. Krabs.
At 10th level, when using your love for casting feature, you may now replace each of the cantrip's additional castings with another one of your known cantrips. In addition,
Okay.
whenever you reduce a creature of CR 1/8 or higher to 0 hit points, with damage caused by a cantrip released as part of the love for casting feature, you gain a bonus of 10 feet to your movement speed until the end of your next turn.
Mm.
And it says this can stack.
Wait a
Wow.
minute. A cantrip that deals damage.
Hey,
Yes.
Please explain.
the unheard of.
Because my mind is blown. Isn't a cantrip like prestidigitation?
Yes.
Well, I mean, yeah, that is a cantrip.
It is.
There are cantrips
In-
that do damage.
Yeah, in 5th edition, we have damage cantrips, and with cantrips in 5th edition, as opposed to other editions, it's like
my.
you cast them as much as you want.
Yeah, but they're very, very low damage.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
it's
one
like,
for
okay,
D4.
Ray of Frost might only do a
2d4.
d6 of damage, or if you're lucky, you get a good cantrip like a Firebolt that does a d10.
Mhm.
It's basically a basic cast so that the caster is on par with their
Yeah.
fighter and
Right, they're
rogue
always
and
able
ranger
to put out
counterparts.
damage at some point.
Yeah, they're all putting out high damage, so having a basic attack that's not a weapon tends to be helpful.
Yeah.
Mhm. Always.
And with this, you're just like bang in every direction. And with at this level 10 ability, it's like if you got a bunch of cantrips, all of a sudden when you pull this off, you're like, okay, I can do a bunch of things now.
Mm.
Yeah, literally spends a full turn to pick up a rock and throw it by calculus.
Hell yeah.
That should
Dedication.
should deal like 2d6 for one stone.
Casts magic stone, drops the magic stones into a patch of earth, uses mold earth to thrust them into a single target, and then
Earth
follows up with a firebolt.
Oh no.
Like, this has creative potential, and I think that's a lot of fun. And I love that it's limited to just cantrips, because it makes you want to use your cantrips more.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh,
agree.
you guys are going to love this for the 14th level capstone for the subclass. Legalized nuclear spells.
Oh,
I mean,
my God.
is this a fantasy realm? So we got to use the equivalent, right?
Yeah. No, I always wondered why there wasn't like radiation magic, you know?
I mean, you got radiant
What
damage.
is hellfire?
Yeah. Like, that's not the
Okay.
same. You know, radiant is essentially holy.
At
Yeah.
14th level, you may cast Meteor Swarm once by expending a spell slot
Hey, yo.
of 7th level. Once you've used this feature, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest and at least 24 hours have passed.
Hashtag Madara.
Yeah. Yeah, right?
So-
Shit.
Mage
You're getting that-
Ninja.
So this is literally just a fast pass to a 9th level spell. I think it's a little OP, but at the same time,
Eesh.
I'm kind of with it. It sounds fun.
It's
What's
crazy.
the saving throws for that? A freaking
Oh.
meteor storm.
Your spell save DC.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, D percentile.
And-
Yay.
And like in the corner of the page, it says, "We making it out of the dungeon with this one."
They sure are.
And this was done by Kamunan Z. Oh, we've done some of his. We featured some of his work before, actually.
Oh, yeah?
So, how would you rate this one? What do you think, Zai? Oh, Sam ran away.
I would give it just the potential of it. I mean, for definitely like spell runs, I rate it a 9 out of 10. Honestly, it has so much potential.
Yeah, you know, I have to give it about an 8 or a 9 as well.
I'm gonna go with an 8 because, like, I love the silliness of the potential. Because, like, fine clothes, okay, yeah, here I am, Mr. Swag. I get to use my intelligence for skills that I'm not proficient in.
Right.
It's like, okay,
Right.
so even if you're bad in something, you can still be like, okay, a little bit of intelligence. Like, it's a little OP depending on whose hands are. If you put this in the hands of a min-maxer, I can see there being problems.
Yeah.
But if you put this in the hands of just some dude that's fucking around and in it for the memes, which seems to be what this is geared towards,
Mm-hmm.
then that's the kind of person that you should allow to use it at the table because they're in it for the lulls.
I mean,
Right.
at the
Yeah, I
same
agree.
time, DM as a DM, you could always throw bigger fish.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly. It's just like it more or less makes intelligence like kind of cover up all the weaknesses. Because like, intelligence instead of dex, so boom, you got a base AC of like what, 15?
Mm-hmm. It definitely would make it a lot less restrictive for players early game.
It's really not that bad, honestly. The one thing is just like legalize nuclear spells at the end.
That's
Ooh.
bugged.
Early access to Meteor Swarm,
Mm,
Yeah,
but it
that's
is once a
wild.
day.
I would once a day though.
Once a day, you get to nuke somebody. Like,
Pretty much,
Yeah.
it's a baby nuke.
yeah, you're gonna
Yeah,
basically
and it has to be a
one-shot anything.
full.
Like,
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
got to be a full 24 hours in between casting at least.
I bet what's the spell component for that?
Right. What's the crafting?
For Meteor Swarm,
It's gotta be expensive.
it's one of the strongest spells in the game. So
Yeah.
Fuck's sake.
let's see here.
Got that.
It's actually verbal and somatic, so no material components.
What?
What? Veto.
That's crazy. That's kind of crazy.
Veto.
I would say if I was to make a change to this, maybe as soon as you get access to 8th level spells, you can spend an 8th level slot to cast Meteor Swarm once a day. It's like, okay, you're getting access early, but the 2 entire spell slots lower once a day, that's a... I could see if like the Meteor Swarm did half the damage that it normally does.
How much damage is it putting out right now?
20d6 fire and 20d6 bludgeoning on a failed
Jeez.
save. Half as much
And
on a successful
bludgeoning?
save.
I'm gonna let him roll a 20d6 real quick.
Nah, that's
Dude,
OP.
it's like one of the highest damage outputs you'll find in the game.
Just to give you guys like an average idea, I'm going to roll 20d6.
Yeah, start the clock.
All right, we got looking
Countdown to
like
destruction.
68 damage, on one roll. But it's also like 20 d8 bludgeoning or d8 bludgeoning, right?
Right.
So that's 68 and a 67. So shit.
Well, and there is a save, so if they succeed,
Right? You're looking at what's that, like 135 damage or some shit? Like
yeah, that's not the worst. It's very much the nuke that it promised.
yeah. Not bad.
But I've heard of builds doing significantly worse.
Yeah.
So
like
maybe I've never really played that many games that reach that level. So it's like
Yeah, me either.
I can't really tell how bad that is, but I would assume getting access that early, maybe. But how often are you going to use Meteor Swarm? Like usually, like that's a dangerous spell to use.
It has a high reward, but better make sure that whole town is clear. Have a bunch of pissed off villagers is never the nicest result in the end.
Well, if you're backed by the shadow government, maybe they'll dig you out.
Light force.
All right, Sam, what you got?
All right, so this week I have dipped back into the mysterious wonderwares. I talked about the Crimson Scythe, I believe, last time.
Well,
I don't
going
think
into your section of this.
Generic realm, lots of fun, excellent.
Oh yeah, last time I talked about the Flyamat.
Yes,
the flail with the
Flail-O-Man.
Tiamat hats. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, the Flail-O-Man.
do tell.
All right. So this week I have brought the Frank. See, I love Donnie Darko. That's probably one of my favorite movies. All right. So when I saw the Frank mask and the description, man. All right. So getting started here. While hunting for treasure at the end of their adventure, a little brown bunny starts making its way to one of the adventurers, hopping onto its hands as the adventurer kneels down to greet it. The creature transforms into a wondrous wooden bunny mask, glowing with powerful fey magic. Frank, or Freyrin Enchelchank, as he was known in the Feywild, was a trickster spirit who was banished into a trans-temporal schism for the twisted mind games he tried to play on beings of immense power. Cursed to only be able to manifest himself in the material world as a little bunny, didn't take the trickster long to find a loophole, however. Using the small traces of magic he still possessed to transform his corporeal form into a mask, for whoever would attune to Frank's magical mask would be able to commune with him directly, able to see Frank's true form inside the temporal prison. This humanoid figure wearing a stupid bunny suit with a twisted metal bunny mask.
This is so dumb, it's great.
So this item is cursed, and becoming attuned to it extends the curse to you. Until the curse is broken with remove curse or similar magic, putting down the mask makes it transform into a little brown bunny that follows you around wherever you go. You have disadvantage on attacks whenever you are not wearing the mask. Once per day, Frank can activate the mask, turning it into a twisted metal bunny mask. By doing so, he grants his foresight onto the wearer, giving them the ability to see the immediate future for 1 hour. For the duration, the wearer can't be surprised and has advantage on attack rolls, ability checks, and saving throws. Additionally, other creatures have a disadvantage on attack rolls against the wearer for that duration. The twist being that the wearer has to use this foresight to perform the actions that Frank wants them to perform, attempting to trick the wearer into committing acts that result in the polar opposite of their current alignment, twisting their moral compass, bending them to his will. If the user fails to follow Frank's commands, the spell ends immediately. Failing Frank 5 times results in a final nighttime visit where he gives the wearer a final message, activating the countdown to their untimely death. This final curse can only be broken by the use of a wish spell. It says, "Wake up, come closer. 28 days, 6 hours, 42 minutes, and 12 seconds. This is when your world will end."
I love it.
Ooh, good flavor text. Tasty.
I like
It comes with an ultimatum.
I like it. If you fail him, he'll straight die. Like, it is what it is.
Like a
It's an item. It's got power. It's got plot built into it. It's got repercussions. It's got it all. 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. I fucking dig it. I like that a lot. Yeah, not just because it pleases my Donnie Darko heart, but like, you know.
Meanwhile, throwing the Frank.
Yeah, right? What the Frank?
It's good. Zai, do you have any special homebrew that kind of tickles your fancy?
Any special homebrew that tickles my fancy? I don't know. Lately, I haven't really been sinking my teeth into the realm of homebrew.
I see.
That's fine.
But if I was to say, definitely down for the One Piece one.
I do have access to the One Piece D20 PDF, and it's amazing. I've integrated transponder snails into previous games, as well as the dial shells from the Skypiea arc.
Transponder snails.
Dude, players just absolutely love the they love the leave it to me to go full retarded for a moment. I forget what I say. The dial shells. Because they serve as a bit of a technology, but the cool thing about dial shells is you can recharge them with appropriate energy to what you're using it for. Like, say you have a flame dial, you can use it as a lighter, you could use it as a thing to augment a sword depending on the size of the dial, and it'll expend a number of charges, and you can recharge it using heat, or the same for a cold dial with cold, or a breath dial with air or force or whatever. For force would be for impact dials, but the idea is that they act as good, almost like a magic item tool, essentially. But you can also use them to augment your weapons, and players love augmenting weapons and armor and stuff with these.
Always.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's like, we had the ranger with his machetes, because like he's like, I want to augment my machetes. Okay, frost dial on one, fire dial on the other.
Ooh.
Fire machete, ice machete.
Chopper style. We're gonna get right. Nah, that's definitely on my top list of I would loves. A Bleach one, considering the fact that the new season's out, would be very, very interesting. I mean, like, bro, whole new heights, like for Ishigo.
I'm about it. I really like Bleach on the whole, and like I feel like functionally for a tabletop game, Bleach works for the sense that the players start out low level as far as Soul Reapers go. Maybe you got a Quincy or a human involved, but I think you got definite goals because the Soul Society's involved. So it's like, oh hey, go do this thing, go take care of those hollows, go do this. So it's like there's a structure.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, the players are together because they have to be.
And this is why, like, once that anime does happen to finish up, which Lord knows how long that's gonna freaking take, it's just a whole nother level because the higher ups are no longer the higher ups, and you know how that goes. But the structure is definitely there, and it's definitely a base that's buildable. Not too hard.
Absolutely. You can kind of just do your own thing with it, and that's what a lot of people really enjoy about those kind of things. Like when you have a well-built world like Bleach or One Piece or Naruto, there's just people are so obsessed that they want to write their own fan fiction. So why not let everybody live that with your tabletop?
Right?
Yeah, why not? That's like the whole point.
And it's like you already know where all the sweet spots are, and if you need to reel them in with some heart tugging, you know just how to do that. Considerably, whoever does join that type of campaign already has a slight understanding about the origins of it. So,
I think on that note, we may be good to go ahead and end this week's episode. Unless we have anything else.
No, I think that about covers everything. Zai, where can people find you?
Well, if you want to check out any of my streams and contact, you can look me up on Twitch by Silent Siphon. My YouTube channel is under the name of Mikado Senpai, Mikado Senpai, and give a shout out to the Nerd Militia. Putting this all together because hey, you guys got something really ahead of its time. I think it's going to take off pretty far, and I look forward to doing a lot more with you guys.
Yeah, man. Thanks for hanging out tonight. It was fun having you. Hope you all enjoyed this episode. Enjoy your rest of your weekend. Have a good night.
Yeah, and check out the link tree with all our special links all over the place. We're doing a lot of stuff.
We are doing a lot of stuff. Working on projects out the wazoo, boy.
The big wazoo.
Very ambitious. Marvel ain't got nothing on this ambition.
Well, have a
And
good night.
That,
Konbawa.
enjoy your weekend.
Later.
Bye. Thanks for listening to Dungeons and Talk Shows, brought to you by the Nerd Militia. Check us out on Patreon or Discord if you want to support us. And if you want to get more Nerd Militia content, you can follow us on Twitter, Reddit, Facebook, and YouTube. Or really any of the usual podcasting platforms. But as always, we're nerds, so what do we know?